you to already see yourself out of the storm. The clouds will move. It's time for you to smile again. Come on, Sean. I believe the family will get better. I believe God will provide. I believe the promise that He made. Oh, I believe. Oh, it's already done. The blessing is yours. God's already pre-approved you for it. Come on, Zacardi. I believe that my God is a healer. Yes, He is. And I believe that I will survive. Oh, I believe that God is able. Oh, I believe. I know it is already done. The word tells us that if any two of us shall agree on anything on earth, that God will do it for us in heaven. And I know sometimes life has a way of knocking you down to the point where you can't even pray for yourself. But today, I want to agree with you that it's getting ready to get better. And right now, we are giving your problems an expiration date. And we're saying it's over. That you've been crying long enough. That you've been worried long enough. That you've been struggling long enough. And I believe that God's going to do it for you. Fire, take it up. I believe God will fix it. Yes, He will. If you just believe. Oh, it's got to get better. Talk to him, Sean. I know you've been crying at night, but I came by to let you know that it's gonna get better. To the single parents. Go in the room and grab your children. Put your arms around them and let them know it's gonna get better. Yes, I do believe. Yes, I do believe. You need to call somebody right now and tell them God's gonna do it. Wait for me. Oh, we do it for a night. Oh, Joe. If you don't remember anything else, I believe. Remember this. Your storm is over.
I believe your storm is over and the rain is gone away. So guess what? I need for you to start there today. What do you believe God for? What do you believe in? What are you wishing for? What are your hopes and your dreams today? But you should not only believe and trust God for your blessings. You should always do this too. And I'm reading Isaiah these days. You see, Isaiah 65 verse 16 says this, that he who blesseth himself in the earth shall bless himself in God of truth. And he that sweareth in the earth shall swear by the God of truth, because the former troubles are forgotten, and because they are hid from mine eyes. So whatever your wish is from God today, whatever your dream is, whatever you want to accomplish, whatever you want to do with your life, I am here to tell you that you're not alone in whatever you do. I'm not alone in doing the show. He's here beside me every single morning. Sometimes I don't even know where I'm going to start, how I'm going to come across, how I'm going to encourage you, and how God will bless you by hearing what the words that come out of my mouth. But I believe that your storm is over. And I believe that the rain has gone away, as the song says. And I also believe that you're not alone in whatever your troubles are today. How depressed you feel, how angry you are about something, how disappointed you are in someone or some people that you love. Please Do not block the change that comes in your life. Embrace it. And trust God that it will be better. And your storm is actually over. And on this International Women's Day, when everyone is saying empower the world's women and girls on this International Women's Day, in the US, we need to think about the fact that 1 in 4 women are being or have been a victim of severe physical violence by a partner, simply called domestic violence. 1 in 5 women has been raped, and worldwide, 1 in every 3 women will be a victim of abuse. On this International Women's Day, we're in the midst of a global awakening. Embrace the change and keep remembering that you're not in this alone. You're not in it all by yourself. God is there with you. And don't forget, he says, fear not, for I am with you. So whatever your dreams are, whatever your goals are, no matter your age, your color, your creed, your status, just believe and know and trust and have faith that God is in whatever battle you're going through. He's there with you and you're not alone. And don't forget to embrace change. If someone that you love is out of your life, you're allowed to miss them, but embrace that change. And remember that you have to do your part. It's not about sitting back and relaxing and hoping that God is going to do something miraculous and throw some bomb in front of your eyes. It's whatever you believe in and what you trust in. And whatever your passion is, and you will do it for free. That is your passion. God will let the money come. Don't worry about the money so much, as I am here to thank you and thank God and thank Pastor Blackwood and my husband for being my technical help to get to this point. It was years ago. Dr. Blackwood called me to be on his show and prophesied and said that he promised to help me to be on my own website doing my Diana Wright show that I had before that was so successful in Jamaica and in London and all the Caribbean islands, most of them anyway. And the future was to go to London and tape the shows there and do it, but Identity TV was bought out by BET, hence the dream got broken. But then my life took another journey, another avenue, an avenue of tragedy and destruction that you will find out about in my book, Deadly Negligence. But you see, when you have faith and you trust in God and you know that you love yourself, and you have taught your daughter and your children and your child to love themselves, that love for themselves will give them strength to come through whatever the devil tries to bring. And sometimes I don't even like to think about the devil, because I cast the devil behind me because I live in the supernatural every single day. And my faith is unshakable. My faith is deep and crazy. Faith, blind faith I do have. So I pass that on to you today and hope that on this International Women's Day, if you're a woman listening to me around the world and in the United States, I welcome you to the program. And I encourage you to stand up and fight for what you want and what you believe in and what you know God can give you. And never, ever, ever, ever give up. No matter the negative voices you hear in your head and the people that surround you who don't believe in you and want what you have and don't trust that God will give them what they deserve and what's theirs. Never, ever, ever want someone else's dream or try to encroach on anyone else's dream. Seek your own. Find your own. You're in control of your own destiny. God is just there to push you forward. And don't sit back and think you're going to win the lottery, because that's 1 in a million. Oh, even more than that. Just do what you can every single day and allow yourself to believe and trust and have faith that God will do the rest, because you're not by yourself. You're not in it by yourself, as T.D. Jakes always says. You're not in it by yourself. I watch him every day, and he gives me hope. And he strengthens my faith that is already strong. But you can always hear and be fed by someone else. So stay prayed up and stay in faith and never ever give up your dream or your hopes or your passion because of some negative person in your surrounding or your own mind trying to deceive you. Okay, so that's where we start today inside the Diana Wright Show online. Welcome again, and don't forget that our crusade here on this program is to love yourself. And as we join up with Dax Dunn to talk about wellness, we encourage you to not only love yourself and teach your children to love themselves, but teach your children wellness, taking care of their bodies, eating right, and doing the things that you need to do to stay alive. We have no control over when we die. God is in control of that totally through his son Jesus. But in the meantime, while we're here on this great earth, that we should indeed be thankful for every single day, no matter what is going on. As long as you're alive, there is indeed hope. Hope that tomorrow will be a better day. Hope that that phone call or that letter in the mail will make your life beautiful, wonderful, and giving you what you hope for. So I'm just simply here to encourage you out of your depressed blue and take you into the green on this day. And as we go through the news that made me either laugh or smile or ponder this week, I hope that I will continue to take you on this journey of loving yourself every single day as you wake up. And even when I'm not on live, you can go back to my website and you can replay the message that I spoke that day or any day that will lift you up of your depression and your devastation and your tragedy, because we all go through it at some time. We just don't imagine it anytime. Oh my goodness, I could never have imagined in my wildest dreams what the past 6 years of my life has been. And I would never want to imagine it anyway. But it happened. But how you deal with your destruction and your tragedy and your devastation is who you are. And the fact that you love yourself will take you through it to be stronger and a better human being. Even though there might be things that are still not perfect because God has not totally completed the miracle, you have to trust and believe that you will get there. And I do. Because every single morning that I wake up, as I pray, I'm simply asking God to complete the miracle. Because if you notice that in the Bible, all the miracles were completed. So who am I to not get my miracle completed? So I want you to look forward to the book that will give you all the details and all the scriptures to encourage you to move on, press on, but never, ever lose sight of your dream. Go through the process, endure it. And sometimes it is just devastating. But know that you know that you know that you're not alone in whatever you're going through. The people who try to destroy you, they'll last for a day and they'll be gone tomorrow. The people who hate you, don't worry about them, because God will take care of them too. And the people who are envious and jealous of you, discard them. That's wasted energy and emotion. And the friends you've lost, mourn, and you can actually miss them, but don't dwell on it. As we move on to some politics, because you see, this is good political news, because the doom and the gloom that was painted by Mitt Romney in the campaign of 2012 for the President of the United States, we know now that the doom and gloom by divine order was never going to be real. Because you see, today in the United States of America, being led by President Barack Obama, the person they all hate and say he is lazy, some of them are saying. The job creation in February. Thank God, 236,000 jobs created and added, putting the unemployment number and the rate down to 7.7 from 7.9 in January. Now, that's not good enough, because there are lots and lots of Americans who are out of a job today and still are looking and can't find a job. And we hope and pray that they will find one soon, because they will. Consumers and business confidence is stronger than it was. And with the Dow rising, U.S. households' wealth is back to pre-recession peak. So, all the folks that were killing President Obama, and all the folks who thought that he was lazy and still talking about the fact that he's lazy, I wonder, what are they thinking today? How are they feeling today about the things that they said about that man? That man who just happens to be black and also white. And I will hasten to tell you that he came out of the belly of a white woman. So I see him more as white. He was raised by white people. Yes, he acknowledges the black part of him. But why is it that you all refuse to acknowledge the white part of him? And why don't we embrace each other just for who we are? That's a dream of Martin Luther King. And not by the color of our skin. And why don't we get the same breaks that white people are getting? And even in schools, they're trying to lower the expectation for black kids and raise the expectation for white kids. That is just a piece of crap. Because every single child, no matter how dumb or dull they seem to you, given the right circumstances, the right opportunity, the right teaching, they can be just as brilliant as any Chinese, Indian, or white person. So let us not lower the expectation for our black children, because they can achieve just as much and even better given the same circumstances and opportunity that we provide. The whites and the Chinese and the Indians, we give them high expectation while we lower the expectation of black children. That is a load of baloney. So I encourage you as a parent, whether your child is black, white, green, or yellow, you need to expect from them the best. And tell them this, that your expectation for them is high. When they come home with a C, don't celebrate. Tell them, yes, it's okay, but an A is better. Or now they're doing 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s. A 1 is always better than a 5. Let them know that. Stop being afraid of your children and afraid of crushing their feelings. Children need to be guided and told what is right and what is wrong until they get to a point, and most of them don't even get to that place until they're 25 and in their 30s, some of them. They know the difference between right and between wrong. And we hope that once they get to be 20, which is out of the teen years, they will actually know what is right and wrong. And we hope some of them will get to that place at 16 and 18 and 19, whatever our dream is for our children. But never, ever, ever tell your child that you're lowering your expectation. Because excellence should be the goal of every black child, every white child, every Chinese child, every Indian child. Because a lot of these schools, they talk about, oh, as I see an Indian or a Chinese coming into my class, I know they're going to be good. Okay. And as I see a black child coming into your class, if you teach them the same way and respect them the same way, they will be just as successful. Put the time in. And stop talking about Chinese and Indian people are smarter. Have you met some Africans who are extremely smart, but they're using some of their smarts in the wrong way? Have you met them? There's some Africans out there that are smarter than a whistle. So let us not lower the expectation for some of our children. Let's raise the expectation for all of our children as we ponder our journey in this life. Lowering expectation for black kids. And those standardized tests, some of them need to be dumped anyway. The FCAT, for one, and most of the others, even the SAT. Because they're not testing what the children are learning in school and being taught. They're talking about some intelligence test. Yes, you have some people who are very good at them, like my husband is fantastic at taking tests. But there are other kids who are smart. And when they take a test, their hands sweat and they have a blockage in their minds. And even though they're so smart and getting A's in class, they just can't seem to get that number out of those exams. So we need not have the system corrupt, because a lot of these exams are just money making. And some of the people who are making these exams, they can't even pass it themselves. Put them in front of those exams that they created and they could not pass it. Remember Governor Jeb Bush of Florida? He could not pass that FCAT when given. So I am totally annoyed about talking about lowering expectation for black children of color, they say. Politically correct. No, black kids is who you're talking about. And Hispanics, who are brown people. Because I guess most of them are brown, but do you know that they're black Spanish people too? Yes, some of them are black. Dark-skinned. So let us not do this. And when your child goes to school, if you notice how they divide up the stupid schools, they have, they give more time and better teachers to the kids who they claim are smart. And then they push them and they have a different curriculum. Everyone should have the same curriculum and be pushed and be expected to achieve the best. Every child should be given that opportunity. And that's my rant for the morning. Okay. I'm serious about that. I'm serious, though. It's ridiculous. If you go to these schools and you dissect the way they... Private schools, no different. They have their little groupings of smart kids over here and not so smart there and dumb ones over there. That is absolutely wrong and not the right way to operate our educational system. Okay, Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez will be laid to rest today, buried today, and more than 30 world leaders are well in tow to attend the funeral and to pay their last respects to the Venezuelan president, who you can remember that he was very, colorful, very dogmatic, and, ticked off a whole lot of folks. But all the heartbroken Venezuelans who are left to ponder and wonder, what's next for Venezuela? What's next for their economy and all the people who used to depend on Chavez? Now they have Maduro, and now there will be an election, and I'm sure there might just be, I'm predicting there will be a new president. Not necessarily Maduro either. he might be gone. So what's next for Venezuela? All those people in Venezuela, and I'm not an Ayn Rand, people who are dependent on the government for 2 cents a gallon gas, free housing, and in some cases free food. What do they do now? Are they going to have the same policies continue? Is the leader of Venezuela going to be less combative? Things for us to think about. Chavez captivated the attention of millions, but yet he polarized his nation for 14 tumultuous years that he was in power. So, all the mourning will take place today. And I have to remind you, I don't think you need reminding because you probably notice that the evenings look a little brighter. So as we spring forward with our clocks this weekend, yes, you will lose an hour's sleep, but you will gain an hour of daylight. So that should make you feel like you can do some things much longer in the evening before it gets pitch black. So lots of walkers who used to go out and walk, who stopped walking because it got dark so soon, now you will have that extra hour of daylight. And for people like me, who don't like to lose that extra hour of sleep on the weekend, just know that when you think it's going to be 9 o'clock, it's going to be 10. All right? Also, the new pope to be chosen in 1 week. Can you believe this? The cardinals have actually come to that conclusion that they can actually move at a good pace and not at a snail's pace. So as we look for the white smoke or the black smoke that will tell us what's going on in Italy at the Vatican with the cardinals who are dressed in their pomp and pageantry robes and red caps or skull caps, I call them. Yeah. We'll watch that to see how quickly the cardinals will come up with a new pope that will take care of all the woes and worries of the Catholic congregation around the world. They're 1 billion strong. So we will watch and see what the next pope does. Can he take control of the sexual abuse in the Catholic Church? Can he deal with abortion? Can he deal with birth control? And can he do something to allow women to become priests and cardinals in the Catholic Church? We'll be watching and we'll be seeing what's going on. All right, want to stop here and invite you to remember a couple of dates. April 30th, National I Love Me Day. Just like today is International Women's Day. Come April 30th, it's going to be National and International I Love Me Day. So we should just make it International I Love Me Day instead of National I Love Me Day. International. We want everyone around the world to celebrate themselves, to encourage themselves, to give themselves the power to declare and decree good things in their lives. And it happens. But we want you to begin to do it by looking in that mirror every single day and saying to yourself, I love me. And if you forgot to do it, you have the mirror in your car, you have the mirror on your phone. And I know all of you have those phones, those smartphones that track everywhere we go. I hate the fact that my phone knows where I am. I do. I totally resent that. You move from another state to another state and your phone is telling you where you are. That should not be happening. Okay? So let's just press on and move on right about now. And as I go to this is, I think, my final story of the new that I decided to do today. I'm going to go back and do the week in review, the stories that stirred me most and the stories that I was most happy about right here on the Diana Wright Show live online. And as you join me each day, I invite you to join the conversation. Go to Facebook and give me the thumbs up and the love. Let me feel your love. Let me feel your tweets. And let me hear your voices on the telephone at 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. And also email me sometimes and let me know what you're thinking, how you feel the show is going, what we need to cover, what we need to stop covering, or whatever. I'm sure there's nothing that you don't think we should cover. But anyway, you can email me at dianawrighttv@gmail.com. That's dianawrighttv@gmail.com. Very similar to the website, which is dianawrighttv.webs.com. And we hope that some of you will have patience. If you're watching the show and it freezes a little bit, just be patient and go back to the home page and go back to live and it starts all over. And some of you might be seeing the ads that are being shown. If you're international, you're not seeing those ads. And if you're local, if you're in the US, you might be seeing the ads. Not everyone sees them. If you have an Apple device, you are not seeing the ads. But if you're seeing the ads, all you need to do is download something called AdBlock on your computer. Just put in AdBlock and you will see it come out. It takes about 30 seconds for it to be downloaded to your computer, and that should take care of the ads that you're seeing that pops up on the show. Talking about ads, I want to also ask you to circle October 5 on your calendar. That will be the day that you will be given the opportunity to save a life through the foundation that is called Save a Life Jamaica Foundation. And the president, of course, the person's brainchild that it is Novelet Gale, and she is planning a great event, or I should say we are planning a super classy event that you will like and must participate in come October 5. So we ask you to save that date for us as we plan the big thing that will come up for that day. I want you to contribute internationally, even if you can't come to the event. We would love for you to come, though. We would celebrate you, definitely, of course. But if you can't make it, you can still contribute to Save a Life Jamaica Foundation. They have a website, and just go online and get to it and make your donation of your $20. Also, if you'd like to be a sponsor of the Diana Wright Show live online, please give me a call. If you'd like to be my partner in this process to get people to love themselves, get people to be aware of their wellness in their lives, please don't be afraid to call. Sponsorship, we welcome. Advertisers, we welcome. And we welcome partners to the show. Also, if you'd like for me to be a speaker at your event, at your church or your celebration, I will be there to do more than one thing. I will help your people to see the reasons they need to love themselves. I will also give you my testimony and my books and my t-shirts that says I love me. And for the men, we are recommending that it says just love me. But for men who wanted to say I love me, we will do it for you anyway. So those are some of the business that we need to take care of before we continue. And every day you check your internet or you check the TV, there's someone else trying to hawk you a new diet. But this diet, which is called the Parisian diet, I like it. Why do I like it? Because I don't have to give up anything. I just have to be disciplined. And I am not deprived of anything. I always say to myself, deprivation is not something I'm willing to do. If I feel for ice cream, I'm going to go to the ice cream parlor and eat me some ice cream. I rather gelato, but gelato is a hard thing to find around here. And the one place I used to find it on Las Olas that was really good has closed down. So I guess not many people are buying the gelato. Okay. All right. But when you go to Italy, there's lots and lots and lots of gelato there. Okay. Spain has it too. All righty. So there's a new diet. And I like it because it doesn't deprive you of things. I don't like to be deprived of stuff. I like it to be my choice to not have something, but I don't want to be deprived of that thing. So I always thought that there had to be a diet that does not deprive you. And here it is, the Parisian diet. And this diet was created by Dr. Jean-Michel Cohen. Did I say that very well? I hope so. It's French. Enjoy your food. Savor every morsel, every bite that you eat. Take your time and savor your food. That's a wonderful thing. Don't be gulping down your lunch at your desk. And some of you are planning to do it right now. You need to stop. Take time. Give yourself a few minutes to eat and digest and savor the flavor of your food, because I guarantee when you do that, most of the times you'll eat less. The next thing, take time for meals. Oops, I got to it. Parisians devote at least 20 minutes and up to 2 hours for each meal. Now, lots of you are saying, what is Diana talking about? Is she crazy? 20 minutes to eat? I don't even have 20 minutes lunch hour. No, some of you have a half an hour. So take the time, instead of gossiping, take the time to savor your lunch, whatever it is, whether you're having a smoothie or you having vegetables or fruit or protein, whatever it is. Take the time to savor that food and stop talking, because you might choke. Number 3, proper protein sizes. American portion sizes are much larger than the French portions. So in case you're going to eat one big old burger with 3 patties in there, the French would only eat 1 patty. All right? So small portions, always the way to go. You're not depriving yourself now. Remember that. You're not depriving yourself of anything you want to eat. You're just making it smaller. Don't watch TV while you eat. Eating meals at the table reduces mindless eating. So when you're at the table with your family, it's not always possible to do that, because, if your husband comes home later than you and your children, and you get to the table before he gets there, because you can't allow the kids to sit down and wait until 8 o'clock to eat. Obviously not. But eat at the table. Mindless eating. When you're in front of that TV, if you have a bag of chips or whatever you're eating, you just keep going because you're so focused on the television program that you can't put the food down. Okay, so they're advising you not to do that. Don't watch television. I think you've heard that several times before, so it's actually true. If you hear it so many times, it must be true. No, not necessarily. Sometimes you hear some negative things in your head several times, and it's not true. Stay physically active. Of course, Parisians prefer to walk or cycle instead of driving, and they use the stairs instead of the elevator. So lots of you who are in those high buildings, maybe you could walk half the way and take the elevator the other half of the way. Those of you who live in smaller high rises, just use the stairs. And when you go to the mall or to those strip malls that have the escalator and the steps, use the steps instead of the escalator. All right? I promise you, it's good for your heart. Eat fresh food. Parisians' diet emphasizes fresh, locally grown, high-quality ingredients. Processed food is not very common in France, and I'm here to tell you that's one of the reasons. You see, I love the way Parisians eat and how they carry themselves, and they're so classy, and, everything about them is classy and excellence. That's the reason I would like to go and live there for a year, to experience that, not just for a vacation, which I've done. I want to go there, be in the heart of the culture, see some of their quirks that they're hiding. I like the fact that they wash their streets every day, but I don't like the fact that I have to run out of the street for them to wash it. So if you're walking, you have to run for cover in a store or someplace so that your feet don't get washed. And why do they do that? I think they do it because those dogs that they have dogs everywhere. I think everyone in Paris has a dog, or everybody in France. So they wash the streets because I don't see them with any poo-poo bags. I just see them dogs doing their business anywhere. So they have to wash that down every day. So when you go to Paris or when you go to France, Paris especially, they're washing those streets every day. In Spain, they clean the streets every day. I did not experience them washing the street, but I experienced them cleaning it with those, someone literally comes and sweeps up, and you have the big trucks, woeing around in the road. And that's wonderful, because I always wonder, where I live, And I'm going down 441 every single day for 5 days a week. And there's so many dead animals in the road. What is going on? And I'm just wondering, who is taking care of those animals? And they're there until they are disintegrated. And they never move. And every morning I'm going down in my car, I'm going, okay, that's still there from yesterday. And then by the week's end, it disappears, but not disappeared because someone picked it up. Disappeared because the wheels of all the vehicles just, ooh. So who are cleaning the streets in your neighborhood? I'd like them to adopt the principle of Spain and France. That would be good. Without charging me any more taxes, that is. Okay, because, they like to say, oh, Europeans pay so much more taxes so they can get those things. No, we need to clean our streets, and we need to take up those dead animals off the streets, especially on a major road like 441. So if you're listening, anyone, please tell the folks at the city that they need to do that. Continuing with the diet, drink water. Of course, you hear that every day. French people don't drink sodas or juice during the daytime. And they, even in the evening time, choose to drink water. So water is the drink of choice for the French. Compensate for your indulgences. So, see, we come back now to no deprivation. French are known for enjoying rich meals because, yes, some of their meals are rich and filled with those creamy sauces. And drinking wine occasionally. I don't drink. They make up for it by eating healthy, lower calorie foods the next day. So I say to you, indulge in whatever food you like this day, especially if you're doing it with your family. And then the next day, you eat much smaller, lower calorie foods, more fruits and vegetables, and things that won't make you fat. Prepare meals at home. I know that's a very difficult one for a lot of American households because everybody's running and every parent believes that their child should be having 5 after-school activities, which I think is wrong. I think you should pick 1 or 2 activities, preferably 1, that the child can focus on that one and be good at that one, and also do their homework and get rest and eat their meal in a timely fashion. And yes, you can prepare your meals at home. Most meals don't take more than half an hour unless you're cooking some of those oxtails and those curry goat and those kind of things that takes forever to cook. Okay, or that stew peas, which lots of us like if we are from Jamaica, and lots of the islands have similar stuff. And if you're African, the stuff is similar. The foods are just similar from certain regions. And some of them take forever to make. So I say to you, Monday to Friday, take the easiest meals to prepare, like fish that is done in a flash. 20 minutes, and any fish you put in that oven is baked. You need 20 minutes. Don't try the sweet potato in the oven when you're in a hurry. Maybe in the microwave is easier. Because in the oven it takes much longer, even though I believe it comes out much better. But the microwave, you get it much faster. So during the week, women, don't stress yourself out. Pick the easiest things to make. Pasta. Pasta in 7 minutes, it's done. A sauce for pasta takes 10 minutes to make. So, I'm not no Rachel Ray, but I tell you, I can whip up some meals in 20 minutes in my house in a flash. So I encourage you to do that, and see the French. They're encouraging you to do that also. So prepare your meals at home. Cooking meals with fresh ingredients is much better for your health and weight loss than eating packaged foods or getting takeout. Now, if you're doing things at your house and you have to take out, try and take out the foods that you like. Because when that period is over, you need to get back in the kitchen and start cooking it again. And eat more fruit. A lot of people don't seem to like to eat fruits, including my daughter. I would buy fruits in here from kiwi to oranges to apples to mangoes, and you have to beg her to eat any of them. And then she acts like she's doing you a favor too, to eat it. When you're saying eat an orange, it has vitamin C. Eat kiwi, it's good for your heart and your brain. You know, apples, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So you have to just cajole your kids, find a nice way, or, you know, well, if I find that if I cut the apples up in pieces, put a little lemon juice on it and put it in the refrigerator so it's easy for her to just eat a couple pieces, then she eats it. She doesn't want to sit and eat a whole apple, I think. I think that's partially because a lot of these young people are just lazy. Okay. All right. So eat more fruits. Parisians enjoy fruits in a variety of ways, such as fruit salads. They poach their fruits, they bake them, and they stew them. Yeah, French people like to stew fruits. And for me, I try to buy the fruits that are in season. Don't try to buy fruits that are out of season. The season I love most is in the October, November time when I can get me some fabulous persimmons. Persimmons, but it's hard to find the good ones because you can't buy them and they're not ripened or they're not slightly soft. But every time it's so hard to find them, and that is one of my favorite fruits turned on to me by my husband. But I love it. It just is, I think I keep saying it's a sexy fruit because when you eat it, you know, it almost stirs some juices in your body. So if you have never had a persimmon this season coming up, but if you live in California, of course, California, it's there in abundance. People have persimmon trees in their backyards in California. One of the things I love about California. So if you've never had a persimmon, please try it. It's fantastic. Okay, the 3 phases of this Parisian diet now is as follows. The cafe phase is optional for quick weight loss and lasts 8 to 10 days. It invites mostly liquids. So it involves about, you know, shakes and soups and pureed foods. That means your system is being cleansed, but you're still eating foods that are pureed, and you're drinking a lot of soup. If you love soup like me, you won't have an issue with that one. So lots of soup, lots of pureed foods, and liquids, like smoothies. But not the smoothies with a whole lot of sugar in them. Try to get those smoothies that are not so sugary. And you need to do that for 8 to 10 days. I think I could try that. But how much weight do I need to lose? My husband tells me that I'm going to disappear, and my mom. But I'm not. You know, people look at you and they say, oh, you don't need to lose weight. But you know, because you are the one seeing your body every day in the mirror when you're saying, I love me, but I could lose some pounds. I love me, but I could firm up my waistline. I love me, but I need some more ironclad abs. You can say that. You're allowed to say that. Because I want you to be truthful to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. I love myself. I'm beautiful, but I need to lose a little weight. I need to be more active. I need to exercise. I need to get my abs to be tight and my arms not so flabby. Yes, be truthful about it. Be honest. No lying here. The next phase is the bistro phase, and that helps you lose weight with nutritious meals high in protein and fiber. Stay on this for 2 to 3 weeks. So we have the cafe phase, which is mostly liquids and pureed foods. Then we get to the bistro phase that we can actually eat nutritious meals high in protein and in fiber. Stay on this for now 2 to 3 weeks. And then the final phase, this is bringing me back to the Dukan diet that I turned on my friend Sister Novelet too, and some other people, and they lost weight. But the Dukan diet kind of deprives you of a few things. The Parisian diet deprives you of nothing. Nothing, ladies and gentlemen, you are deprived of. So it's so much easier when you're eating what you like, what you love, but you're eating it in small portions. Now, do I need to hammer that into your head for you to get it? So, continuing the phases of the Parisian diet, the last phase is the gourmet phase. It's followed until you reach your desired goal. Whatever weight you want to be, when you reach that weight, then this is that phase. The meals are designed to be pleasurable while allowing you to continue to lose weight. So then you get to the pleasure phase, is what I call the gourmet phase. Gourmet pleasure. Yeah. So you'll get to that phase and you will continue to lose weight because you are doing the right thing, because you're eating in small portions. You're adding fruits and vegetables. Lots of people don't even like vegetables. Try to tolerate vegetables. They're good for you, and they're good for your digestive system and your colon too, and fruits also. So keep that in mind. So let's have a quick run through all the what you call it here now. The news that kind of irks me for, for the past week. Yeah, I want to go through some of those. All right. Coming up next week will be Dax Dunn on Wednesday and the chiropractor on Thursday. And we are going to try to have someone with me as many days as we can. Some days I just need to be by myself. And remember, I'm never alone now. Remember that. So, all right. The news that really got me going this week is just seeing how wonderful it is when Senator John McCain slammed Rand Paul for his theatrics of trying to be famous online and around the world as he filibustered the nomination of John Brennan for CIA director. And yes, after all that drama that Rand Paul did because he's trying to gain fame for 2016, John Brennan was confirmed as our CIA director. So why the drama? Why waste people's time? Oh yes, I could tell you why he wasted his people's time. Because Rand Paul, you see, is giving you the showmanship that he needs to go through the primaries with his Republican Party come 2016. And it will actually start much before 2016. It's going to start in 2015, so don't think it's that far away. And let us not forget who Rand Paul is. He is the son of Ron Paul, the libertarian, the man who believes that there should be no government almost. So just in case Rand Paul think we're stupid and we're never going to remember that, we will remember. And I thank you, Senator John McCain, for whipping his butt, for wasting people's time and talking about the president is going to put a drone on someone in a cafe and someone like, Jane Fonda when you don't agree with the government. That's a bunch of crap. And I'm so thankful to Senator John McCain for calling out his fellow Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky for wanting you or trying to brainwash you into thinking that that is possible. Not so. And thanks again to Senator Lindsey Graham, who I fight with so much because he's always talking some crazy stuff sometimes. But now he's absolutely sane because he's saying to his fellow Republicans, calling them out and saying to them, I didn't hear you guys talking about drones when George Bush was in power. Drones started with George Bush in power. So why are you all coming down here acting like Obama is the one who started the drone program when you never complained when George W. had them drones going? So, thank you so much, Senator John McCain and Senator Lindsey Graham. I appreciate you for doing what you did in the spirit of bipartisanship and not being a hypocrite because you're a Republican and speak lies and hate all the time. Anyway, what was my next big story? The dinner, the dining with the president, with the 12, the dozen Republicans who span the thoughts and beliefs of the Republican Party. They were happy to oblige the invitation from the president. The dinner was organized by Senator McCain and Senator Lindsey Graham. Yes. And all the Republicans were saying nice things about the president once they left the dinner. John McCain said, fantastic. Some people say, well done. Some people say, we listened to his heart. Oh my goodness, the praise was just rolling. And I hope and I pray that this continues so that the people's business in this country called the United States of America can get done. Okay? Once again, welcome to you from around the world and in the United States. If you're just joining me, this is the Diana Wright Show live online, and it is Friday, TGIF. And of course, I won't be with you at 8 o'clock because Friday evenings is family time. And I want to keep it that way. It's also the beginning of the Sabbath, so I'd like to keep it that way. If there's something major that's happening in the world, I will think and reconsider. But for now, you'll see me on Friday mornings at 10:30, and I invite you to observe the Sabbath with me and to have family time with your family on Friday evenings. Okay? So, my question was for this week, the big question that I asked this week. Why did the president know that all the Republicans wanted him to do was some socializing? I agree with him because I cherish my family time. I truly do. I cherish the Saturdays that my husband and my daughter and myself, we go and we, have a good time and, we just commiserate with each other. So I don't blame him. And I don't begrudge the president for spending time with his family. But once a month, Mr. President, maybe a good idea just to make peace. We know that you have made several attempts and offers and invited several people to dinner who did not accept your invitation. But it seems that this is the way to go. Invite Republicans of every thought process, because within that Republican Party, you have the Tea Party, you have the old Republicans, you have the young Republicans like Rand Paul and Paul Ryan. They're not so young anyway. They're acting like they're 16. They're not that young. They just have some crazy views for this country. And they want smaller government. They hate government, but yet they're seeking a government job and want to keep it. Look how long Paul Ryan has been in the Congress. Many terms. Rand Paul is new, but he wants to stay there because, he had to give you that theatrics so that he can stay there. Right? That's right. But we are not so stupid, you see, Mr. Rand Paul. And Mr. Orubio, who is quoting Jay-Z, you're not going to be president either. I'm here to predict that because I'm a good predictor of stuff. So, continue the theatrics because you're just turning us off. And continue to tell lies and block the president's plan for the country. And you better get that $9 an hour approved for those people who need it and deserve it. And ain't no business going to close down because they don't want to pay $9 an hour. That's a lie. Don't let Republicans tell you that. Mr. Speaker Boehner talking about, if you give them $9 an hour, you're just going to have more unemployment. No, Speaker Boehner. And it's so nice that you and Mr. McConnell were not invited to the dinner. Maybe that was a good thing. So that was one of my stories. Another one, Walmart taking time out to empower women by giving women a chance to hawk their goods on their website at walmart.com. So if you're a woman, and they're doing it for international women, it's not just American women. Okay? So women, Walmart to be celebrated for this week. Okay. Also, one of my great stories for the week, that the mom and pop store is coming back, and the big box stores, they're kind of fading somehow. Because when you go to those big box stores, apart from Costco, when you go to them, there's nobody to help you to do anything. Lowe's is not so bad, but when you go to Home Depot, you feel like you're looking for someone forever. And a lot of the other big stores, including Walmart. Walmart, especially when you go there and trying to find someone to help you. And I can tell you the only time I go to my Walmart and I know that I will find what I want is when a friend of mine, Marlene, is there working that day. She will always, I will be able to not find her and ask two people where to find a product. And they act as if, I don't know. And then I find Marlene and she takes me to that product. Now, someone like that, Walmart should know to give a raise too. Because if you work in a store, you need to know what's going on in the store. A lot of you who work, you act as if you're doing the boss a favor. You're not doing the boss a favor to be there. They gave you a job, and whatever the job is, whether you love it or you don't, whether it's your passion or you're not, it's something you're doing to get you to where you want to be. Do it to the best of your ability and do that job with excellence. Don't be in a store and I am asking you where to find something in a store and you're telling me you don't know. A store is not that big. I worked for Saks Fifth Avenue and I knew that store everywhere everything was because I would come in early in the morning and study the store. Because as a consultant who dressed people, I needed to know where to take them to buy the products that I'm gonna advise them to wear. So please keep that in mind. It doesn't matter what job you have. Do it with excellence and do it to the best of your ability. And don't be on that job complaining and grumbling and talking about, ooh, I'm working at Burger King, but I really don't like it. But so I'm going to be nasty to the customers. Have you thought that that might just be your step into getting to the position that you really want? Who knew? Who knows? You might just be the owner or the franchisee of that Burger King someday, if that's your dream. So any job you have, please respect the job and stop moaning and groaning about the job. And if you want a pay raise, go ask for it. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. The Bible says, seek and you shall find, and knock and the door shall be opened unto you. So whatever you're seeking, don't stand back and seek in your heart alone. Go and seek it, find it, and let the door be opened unto you. And also be content and be satisfied with where you are right at this moment. Be content, be satisfied, because God has another plan for you, or maybe that's just the plan. But whatever the plan is, He is there with you. You're not in it alone. But He will not bless you if He sees that you're discontent with where you are. It gives me great pleasure to get up in the mornings, prepare for this show, and get to this microphone and speak to you, to inspire you and encourage you and give you hope. And I have the same vigor at 8 p.m. every night. And yes, people are saying, oh, and how you make money and how you this and how you that. That's not the point. This is my passion. This is part of my dream. To be talking to you, encouraging you, inspiring you to do better, and be the best person and love yourself. That's my crusade. What is yours? I hope you find it and I hope you achieve it. And stay prayed up because it helps. And prayers do get answered. Not necessarily in your time, but they get answered eventually. So hooray for the mom and pop businesses that are having a rebirth. We are so thankful for that. Also, I reminded you of 15 companies that are hiring, and I want to just flash through them right now and give them to you again. And Bath Fitter, that's one. Community Health Solutions, Interactive Intelligence, ITT Tech, Jamba Juice, K Designers, Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance, Morgan Stanley, Petco, RBD Marketing Inc., Univision, West Liberty Foods, Walters Kluwer, that's an information software company, Yodel, that's an online small business advertising company, and Zip Realty. Just want to remind you of those. And of course, wow, I spoke about the filibuster. And for those of you who kind of missed some of the shows, this is one of the stories that really caught my goat. Obamacare, as you know, is the Affordable Act, healthcare, which requires employers to provide healthcare for all their employees. And these employees, in order to get around the system, they're trying to use your health to make sure that if you're not so healthy, you're not going to get that much of a good insurance rate. So what are they asking you to do? They want to do a biometric screening. They want to do blood test for cholesterol and glucose levels. So if you're diabetic, and they want to measure your waistline. Imagine that. Do they think they're in the flight attendant business or what? Yeah, as a flight attendant, they weigh you when you just start. I don't know about when you get a little older into the business, but when you just start, you have to go for weigh-ins. And if you weigh more than what you're supposed to weigh, you better lose it quickly or else you're out of a job. Okay? I don't know how strict they are with that anymore, because I see some flight attendants on the plane and I'm like, ooh, I guess those rules have been relaxed. Okay. And the crazy thing about the TSA, talking about they're going to allow knives on board 2.36 inches long and less than 1/2 inch wide. No knives should be on the plane. If I am still taking off my shoes and I am being asked to take off my jacket and my hat, there should be no knives on board. So TSA, please reconsider. The flight attendants are hopping mad, and so are the flight marshals. So we are encouraging here on the Diana Wright Show live online, the TSA to take back those things that they were planning to do. It doesn't take effect until April 25th, but we are asking them to roll it back. Go back and let people stop taking off their shoes or take off their clothes and strip with their jewelry taken off, their earrings and anything that's metal. That's what you need to focus on. No one need no knives. Next thing you have these crazy people carrying their little knives on board and trying to stab somebody with it. Were they thinking? Did they really think this through before they decided to bring it to us? I don't think so. Because if they did, they would have come up with a lot of scenarios where that little knife can be just as dangerous as a box cutter. And talking about golf clubs, who want to carry their golf clubs and their hockey stick on a plane? Absolutely not. TSA, that one really irked me. Okay, the one that made me laugh the most. Sex is the most awesome and best cure for your headaches. So if you have a headache, especially a migraine headache, and this is not no make-up story. They actually did survey and test people for this. If you have a headache, ladies, not a pretend headache, now a real one, you need to have some sex. That's what they're saying. Sex up yourself and your headache will be gone. Woo! Husbands are laughing to the bedroom. I know that all the husbands who are listening to me, they are smiling. They're having a ball because they're thinking, wow, my wife suffers from migraines. I must just go home now and tell her that Diana Wright says we should be having some sex. Okay. Another thing that really irked me is the fact that you can't buy Sudafed. You can't buy alcohol, cell phones, and puppies without ID. Yet you can go and buy a gun if you live in that state without anyone asking you any questions. Is that crazy or what? That is absolute insanity. And moving right into another insane story for the week. The wingnuts that are increasing in number. Okay. 1,360 new wingnut groups are formed. And mostly because a black and white man is in the White House. So they're angry. They're ticked off. And I tell you what, Attorney General Holder and Napolitano, who is head of all of those things, those security things, you better be watching. And the TSA comes under her too. So what was she thinking about those knives? I expect better from her. Miss Napanatala. Yes. Okay, so watch out for those crazies. They could be your next door neighbor. 1,360 wingnut groups. That's what I call them. Because they're crazy. And the things they want, they should never achieve, and they will not achieve. Because there's a mightier power, a mightier source than them, you see. And for the fact that they hate President Obama, their lives will be no better for the hating. Okay? So, watch out for the wingnuts. They're there. And it's always good to be looking overseas for Al-Qaeda and all the terrorists overseas. But we need to look within. Don't forget McVeigh when he blew up that building in Oklahoma. The terrorists are homegrown and they're among us. So let's be aware and of our surroundings. Don't be talking about you feel so secured and you're not. When you're going to your car, ladies, in the mall, be looking left and right and over your shoulder. Don't just open up your car and walk in. Look who is behind you and who is beside you. It's important. So, all right, the final one for this day that really gave me pause and want to encourage you to continue these ways to improve your relationship. Don't try to change the person that you marry, because who you married is who you married. And the same things you're complaining about now is the same things you kind of thought at that time was cute or nice or sweet. If he's controlling you today and telling you what to wear and raising his voice, he's going to do it when you get married. He ain't going to change. If she's needy and wanting to know where you are every moment of the day, she's not going to change. It will be the same when you get married. So don't try to change people you marry or have a relationship with. And ladies, if he's an alcoholic or a drug addict prior to wedding, he will be one after the wedding. Do not put on those rose-colored glasses in your relationships. Know what you know and step back. If the guy seems to be obsessed with you prior to marriage or prior to you trying to shack up or whatever you do, he will continue to do so. Cut the apron strings. So tell your mama, Mom, do not come to my house and try to cook my food when my wife is there, unless you get permission from my wife to do so. Do not try to come and run my house because I'm now married to someone. Okay? So cut those apron strings. Prioritize your health. Go and exercise together. Take a walk together. Do things together. Work out together. Encourage each other to work out. Be silly together. Do silly things, crazy things, whatever it is. Rub noses if you have to. Keep on growing apart, meaning you growing together, but you have to have your support system, your mom, your sisters, your brothers, your friends. Don't forget those people because you're married. Okay? Because when your husband is gone, you still have them friends and them family, and especially your mother still there. And your father. How could I forget fathers? Dream big and share them. Don't lock up your dreams because you figure your husband is going to think you're crazy. Tell him what your dream is. And same thing for you guys. Tell your wives what your dreams are. I find men just don't like to discuss these things. But I will be talking about my dream. What do you want out of life? What is your dream? What are your aspirations? You need to speak them into the atmosphere. And some way, somehow, God will just pick them up and throw them through his son Jesus and make them happen for you. So dream big. Stop asking, do I look fat? Ladies, you're not going to like the answer, so do not ask. Don't nag, ladies. Do not nag those guys. Stop nagging. For me, I'm quiet. I'm upset about something, I just don't speak. So it's better to not speak than to nag. Don't skimp on pillow talk. So when you go to bed at night, try to have some conversation. Whatever it is you want to talk about, don't talk about some heavy stuff, though, before you go to bed. And give each other the once over. Tell how good they are. Tell your husband how handsome he is and you're happy you married him. Tell your wife how beautiful she is, how soft her skin is. Do that. It's good for the relationship. Get a reliable babysitter when you want to go out on a date. Make yourself have some date nights. I am only allowed date nights when I go and my mom is around, because that's the only person I trust with my kid. Okay? So be honest, vocal, especially about finances. If you think your husband is taking you down the river with your expenses, call him out. Speak about it. If you think your wife is shopping too much and she's breaking the bank, call her out and speak about it. Don't sit there and be mad and fluster and grumble and ooh. Speak. Open your mouth. That's the reason God gave us a mouth and the ability to speak our minds. Compliments. Men like when you compliment their skills in bed. Maybe you should. Indulge each other's passion. So if your husband likes to play golf, indulge him and go out and play golf with him sometimes. If he likes basketball games, well, maybe sometimes you can just peep by the TV. You don't have to stay there for the whole time. Just indulge him a little bit. And men, indulge women by going shopping with them. That's pleasure. Let him go. Don't track his every move. I just spoke about that. Do not try to figure out where your husband or your boyfriend is every single second of the day. He will think you're insecure and you need to be not so needy. Ask the right questions. Allow each other to speak and then listen. I love that one. Because sometimes we're talking to our spouses or our significant others and we speak. But then when they're speaking, we're not paying attention. We're trying to figure out how we're going to answer what he's just saying. So stop doing that. Listen. Listening is an art, and it's a good art to come to a good conclusion with. Listen. Have a secret language, like, when you're at a party and you want to leave, you give an eye movement or a touch on the hand or a touch on the finger or a hug over the shoulder. Whatever your communication is, figure it out and let no one else know your love language. Okay, get yourself in the mood, ladies. Stop talking about you have headaches. Get in the mood. Try to teach him and tell him what he needs to do to get you in the mood. Don't just assume that he knows. And men, don't assume that the women know either. So get her in the mood. It's mostly women that have that issue. Be biased about him. One thing should not cancel out the other. So if your husband does one bad thing, don't just start hating him totally for that one thing. Remember some of the good things. As I always say to couples, if you're in a relationship, especially if you're married, write on one side the good things and write on one side the bad things. If the good things far outweigh the bad things, then you need to just fix the few little bad things and keep on staying in your relationship and trying to make it better. Get a little privacy in your house. That's the last one, and that's the only one that I'm not so feeling, because I don't know if everybody has the space to do that. I know I certainly don't have the space to do that. Do I have the space? No, I don't have the space to do that. And as I crumble up the papers and shuffle them for you, it's time for me to leave and time for me to say have a happy, blessed weekend wherever you go to worship. And if you don't go anywhere to worship, make sure you're prayed up and you're praising God in your bedroom, in your toilet, to wherever you are. Don't forget, you can join us on Skype if you want to. You can be Skyped in. You can call us. And this weekend, the clock springs forward. So you will lose an hour's sleep, but you will gain an hour of brightness, of daylight. And hopefully that will energize you. So hope I managed to get you out of your blue and into the green today. And hope I inspired you by something I said on this Diana Wright Show live online. And I hope that you will keep April 30th in mind And we're now going to make it the International I Love Me Day. We're not leaving out anyone. So internationally, from around the world and in the United States, International I Love Me Day. That's the day it's going to be. And I'm going to do my darndest best to promote it. And I encourage you to promote it with me. Word of mouth will take us more places than we can imagine. And we're asking you to love us on Facebook. Not like us, love us on Facebook. Tweet us. Tell us something. Let us know what you're thinking. Come on. We need to hear from you. And if you'd like to call me and like me to join your situation by giving you all the secrets of loving yourself and what it can do for you, give me a call at 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. And don't forget to email me at dianawrighttv@gmail.com. Saying a special hello and a special good morning. Hope he's watching, Mr. Blank, one of my new favorite fans. Hope you're watching this morning and hope you have a good weekend and hope your pains will be eased and your struggles of medical whatever you're going through will be eased also. So we thank you once again for joining us today. Have a great weekend. Worship, stay prayed up. And know that you're never alone in whatever your struggles may be or whatever you're trying to achieve. God and his son Jesus will always be with you. So if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. Much love, much peace, much joy, much happiness, abundant health, wealth, and prosperity is what I wish for you as I close today, and I thank you once again for joining me. Do so again come Monday at 10:30. I look forward to seeing you 10:30 a.m. on Monday. Have a great weekend. Ciao, adios, au revoir, and goodbye.